Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another vid. Now, I have to say one thing. This today is a very strange and, if not, I have to say one of the most shocking days in this country's history. All right, the United States, that is. Now, again, this is a boxing channel. I rarely do any political videos, but I have, done one about a couple weeks ago about Bill O'Reilly's firing. But I think this one is worth noting. This one needs recognition. Now, another firing occurred today, which was a very shocking firing, opposed to the O'Reilly firing, which was kind of expected. This one right here, the firing of embattled FBI Director James Comey. All right. Now, Comey is a guy who was not liked. You could say he infuriated both sides of the aisles in the nation's capital. The Democrats didn't like him, given the fact that he reopened the case into Hillary Clinton's email that which sparked controversy, where her former aide Uma Abedin had forwarded a lot of I think it was Uma Abedin who was also partaking in that situation, who was forwarding a lot of classified emails over to her personal server, even to the point she forwarded over to Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States, whatnot. And it was controversial, and but what infuriated the Republicans before he reopened the case is that one time the case was opened during the course of the summer of the election. He closed it. He went up there and held a press conference, unilaterally, and condemned and gave a scathing statement about Hillary Clinton and the way she was irresponsible with handling classified information through a certain email server. But he concluded that he was not going to pursue any criminal charges. So that pissed off the Republicans then. Okay, as I mentioned, he pissed off the Democrats by reopening that case on the eve of the election, which is about 11 days away, which we all can agree that helped influence the result of the 2016 election, which we now got a guy who's very inept in his area, who can openly admit that he didn't expect the job to be what it is. All right, so anyhow, let me get back on the top. Let me get back to the point here. Comey was fired today, okay? And what's funny about this is that he was fired in an unexpected manner, okay? He wasn't even at his office at the time of the firing, okay? He's in here in the West Coast, and he wasn't told about that until he was, till the news broke about his firing. Okay. What's also strange about his firing is that no one in the intelligence community knew about it. They weren't given a heads up about it. No one in the FBI didn't know about it. And quite frankly, majority of the White House staff did not know about it. They weren't really given a heads up. I think some people were given a heads up about it, but particularly no one knew. Okay, and that's why it took the White House a very long time to scramble around and put out a statement and send out their surrogates to comment on the situation. Okay. Now, a letter was sent out by Trump, and he sent the letter he didn't send the letter to Comey because Comey didn't even receive it, okay? But he made the letter public, okay? He wrote the letter, it was drafted, and in that letter, he stated the reason for Comey's firing was based on the recommendations of Attorney General Jeff Sessions and also Deputy Attorney General... Damn, I'm frozen here. Deputy Attorney General, who's a Sessions deputy? Rod Rosenstein, okay, who's like pretty much a moderate and he's a independent guy, okay. Now, in that recommendation in the letter, Trump stated that the reason why the firing was taking place, his dismissal was brought upon you, Mr. Comey, is because the way you have unilaterally handled the Hillary Clinton investigation back in the summer of 2016. In other words, this paraphrasing, you should have brought charges against her, knowing that she committed a act that's pretty illegal when it comes to handling classified information through a certain email server. Okay, now. Here's two things that struck in this email. What he also said, Trump, in this letter. He said that I appreciate that you told me on 3 separate occasions that I was not personally I was personally not under or subject to an investigation. So I appreciate your services and I wish you on your future endeavors. Now, that particular statement really concerns me again. Why would you, in the world, did you refer to the Russian investigation in his email? Okay. Number two, why is Jeff Sessions involved in this? Okay, because I thought he recused himself for any particular investigation involving Russia. The reason why I say that is because now Jeff Sessions is now breaking an oath here because Comey publicly came out a month and a half ago and testified in front of on the floor of the Senate or the Congress. I'm sorry, in front of Congress, in the chamber of Congress, I should say, and he said that the Trump White House or whoever the campaign staffers were under investigation for possible collusion with the foreign powers of Russia during the 2016 election. Okay? This is, I'm going to draw a little pattern here, okay? Sally Yates gave a scathing testimony yesterday in the floor, at the Senate Judiciary Committee. Okay? It was very scathing and it actually blew the Russian case wide open if you think about it, okay? Now, Sally Yates was dismissed while she was acting Attorney General because she refused to carry out an unlawful immigration ban order, which was proven to be unlawful because the federal courts shut it down. Okay? But to me, it had something more to that because she had came to the White House and informed them about a possible blackmail with National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Okay, she warned him that he could be subject to blackmail with the Russians, and he's compromised. That national security of the United States could be compromised due to the situation. But after she informed them about Michael Flynn, it took them 18 days later to fire him. Okay, now I think that the reason why she was terminated was based more on Michael Flynn rather than the fact that she refused to carry that unlawful order. Okay. Then you have the U.S. Attorney, the U.S. Prosecutor in New York 7th District by the name of Preet Bharara. Okay? Preet Bharara was asked personally by Donald Trump to stay on as U.S. Attorney for the New York 7th District. But subsequently, he was terminated because, well, there was no reason why, because the president does have within his constitutional power to dismiss U.S. attorneys and replace them with new ones at his choosing, as long as they're confirmed by the U.S. Senate, right? But it's also kind of odd that on the eve of his termination, Bharara was investigating Trump, the Trump towers or the Trump's internet. I think Trump's businesses with the Russian banks. Okay, and now we come to the Robert Comey situation, when he openly admitted that he was investigating. That the FBI and his team were were investigating the Trump's White House and the campaign staffers on the possible collusion with the Russians during the election. Okay, and also turns out today, and also something that's developed, that they were trying to fire Trump was trying to find a way to come up with a logical excuse to get rid of Comey for last week now. Okay, now everybody's talking about the Monday Night Massacre that occurred with Sally Yates. Okay, yeah, there was some bit of similarities there because of the fact that Richard Nixon had fired, or he instructed the firing of Archibald Cox because he was trying to cover up a crime, whatnot. But this right here today that just happened is a Tuesday Night Massacre. Okay, because to me, with all the actions of Donald Trump, with these firings of Preet Bharara, Sally Yates, and now FBI Director James Comey, there's no doubt in my mind or anyone's mind with who has some logic here or rationale that Donald Trump is working so hard to impede this investigation. Okay, he's trying to shut down this Russian thing, one thing or another. Why do you think he's acting so erratic when it comes to these tweets about Russia? He's going out there talking about this is bogus story, this is Fox. I'm not saying Fox. This is fake news. There's all smoke but no fire. But to me, he's actually putting fire into this whole story by all these firings and these dismissals. I find it very strange here because his actions are Nixonian, at best, no question about it. Now, if Trump thinks that firing FBI Director James Comey is going to, put out the smoke when it pertains to the Russian investigation, he's got another thing coming, and this thing's not going to go away. And trust me, the press is going to eat him alive tomorrow. And Sean Spicer, I will be worried in your shoes, man. I'm out.